Yo, yo, yo. What's going on, folks? So, Saturday morning, right now it is just before 12 o'clock Standard Eastern Time. And a lot of people in the comment section yesterday were really talking about the comparison with Doge and AMC. So, I just want to come out with a quick video showing you all what I found. And it's actually really interesting. So, of course, guys, run Webull. Left-hand side over here, we have AMC, Miss Amy, our favorite girl. And over here on the right-hand side, we have Dogecoin, which, arguably speaking here, is one of the favorite cryptocurrency for the Twitter community. So, what I'm finding here, and I have labeled it with various boxes, and just a quick note, guys, I was not the individual to first find this comparison. There has been many people online talking about this, but what I think I'm finding and looking at is slightly different than anyone else. So we'll walk you through my findings. So if we go back to March 19th, 2021, this was really when we were battling with Wanda, if you all can remember, where every time we got to that like $12 to $14 range, Wanda would just dump more shares, bring down this price of AMC. And that's just how it went. And it sucked. It really sucked. It felt like forever. And it feels like the same predicament we're kind of in right now with AMC present date. But nonetheless, guys, here are my comparisons. So the first comparison is going to come from 3/18/2021 to 4/14. In that range, AMC traded from $14 and call it like 50 cents just to be easy here, to a low of like $8.30. But in this time frame, that's when Dogecoin kind of had the first pump. And we can kind of zoom in and see this. 317, you kind of trade flat for a little bit when AMC is around this top end range. And then as AMC dives down, Dogecoin pops up. So what I'm getting at the first half of the correlation is they are inversely correlated, which means they trade opposite to each other. Now, in this green section, after Doge had its first run up, you do see that we have a pullback in this time frame from just about 417 to 426, and just about from 414 to 426, 427. That's when you have AMC bottom out around this area of 896 and push up to the top end of our resistance channel at 1223. So inversely correlated yet again. Now, after this slight pullback, Dogecoin runs. What happens? Well, AMC pulls back. So, again, inversely correlated. And then once you have Dogecoin reach all-time highs, this was on 5.7. 5.7 over here is really where we start to bottom out and then curl up into our bullish fractal, which led to massive price action and all-time highs. But on the other hand, Dogecoin literally just took a skydive from 74 cents all the way to a low of 19 cents. That's freaking ugly. But it's interesting to see this because you have similar percentage movements as well. Because, I mean, when this first runs up, AMC dips pretty heavily from a percentage standpoint, $14 to $8. That's a pretty decent pullback. And then this same pullback when Doge went from 74 to 19 cents. Well, AMC went parabolic and really just that's the start of everything. Recently, at least. Okay. After AMC runs up and Doge kind of finds its bottom, this red box here, well, what happens? AMC starts to trade down, trades down to $40 from a high of 72, and Dogecoin actually starts to pick back up and move back. Doesn't quite get to all-time highs, not even close actually, but you still have a decent percentage run. Now, what's interesting that I'm finding is it was inversely correlated in the time frame of March 18th, 2021 to just about June 25th, 2021. June 25th, 2021. All leading up to here is correlated. Now, what I'm starting to find, if you go day by day, is now it becomes correlated, but correlated in a lagging factor. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, we'll look at this neutral box, no colors associated with it, from 625 to 719. Well, 625 to just about 720, same time frame, yeah, it is still correlated. But as we can see, moving forward from this box on, what you have is a lagging movement. And roughly, I believe it's just about a month. It's not perfect because obviously Doge and crypto does have weekend trading. So your time frame is going to be off on this, and it's hard to put a direct trading day correlation metric behind this. I hope you understand what I mean by that. But nonetheless, we'll start right here. 720, you do have a pullback, and you reach that low at 811. So 720 to 811, well, that's when Dogecoin starts to move up. But we kind of get topped out at 815. Well, 815 on AMC is really just like the start of this move from 8.5 to 9.14. So you're lagging roughly, guys, a month here. So you do have that move. Bam. All right, let's look at the next major move. We can say it from here, 9.13, and we'll go to 10.20. 9.13, Dogecoin is trading down here. Boom. Similar, and then we start moving back up. Don't quite get to that last high, but we do get topped out here on 10.28. Well, 10.28 is slightly a month, not even, couple weeks, to where we get stopped out at our high here. Same thing happens. So correlated, but just a lagging correlation. Now, present date. Well, Doge 1028, comparatively speaking to this point at 11.8, you start to have this kind of drop down. Similar, almost exactly similar to what we saw in Dogecoin, where you get dropped down, and then you kind of just like fall in this place, and you don't really get a lot of price movement and all of that good stuff. So even similar, because we do get this somewhat of a double bottom here, the second bottom doesn't come down all the way to that 0.1302 area, but still nonetheless, you get a very similar pattern playing out on this. So what happens next? Well, of course, guys, this can't be used perfectly to the T, but we can roughly use it to guesstimate how AMC is going to trade in the longer term picture based on some type of correlation with Dogecoin. Now, the one thing I do want to explain is it's not, there isn't a correlation, in my opinion at least, just because the stock and cryptocurrencies move in a correlated space. I think it more has to do with liquidity. So why am I saying that? Well, because, let's be honest here, for shorts, this is a very, very dangerous move. So you need to have some money to meet those margin requirements. So therefore speaking, you don't get a margin call that you can't post up to. Because as we know, guys, margin calls are a common thing within the stock market. Now, where margin calls get dangerous is if you can't meet those margin requirements, then you're forcefully asked to close those positions. So you need liquidity on the side. So I believe the Dogecoin crypto pumps was more of a way for certain funds and institutions to have margin on the side to meet these requirements. So therefore speaking, now that it is lagging, I do believe it's all in the mix of liquidity. And when they pump it, as in kind of recently here, you're not getting a huge pump yet, but we'll talk about what I see for Dogecoin in the, I guess you could say, near-term future. But I do believe it just all comes back to liquidity and institution in certain funds needing those liquidity requirements to meet margins. So obviously, guys, we have talked about the Wyckoff analysis. And actually, before we get to that, I'm over here on TradingView, and I want to show you this. So what we have, and just bear with me for a second, I'm not the best with TradingView at the moment, but down here, we have Dogecoin. Here, we have AMC, the higher quadrant here. So as you can see, the movements are correlated. It's just lagging. It's absolutely just lagging. Because, like we kind of just discussed day by day and walk by walk, when AMC starts to move, well, Dogecoin already had that move just about 2 to 3 weeks prior. Same thing happens over here. Look at, you get that run up here. Well, this already happened in the future. And then when Dogecoin starts to dip down, well, AMC dips down in the near-term future. So we can see this all the way back to when we first had correlation or just data and charting from Dogecoin on platforms like Webull, TradingView, various other sources. It absolutely starts to be negatively correlated and then flips into that lagging indicator, as we can see here. So I just thought this was interesting, wanted to share it with you folks. But nonetheless, guys, Wyckoff. Wyckoff is an amazing tool. And as you can see here, after this massive move up, you get this distribution, fall down, and then what happens? Well, in this, the top end of the channel is going to be 33 cents, and the bottom is going to be roughly about 16 cents. This is your accumulation trading range. So you get your stoppage over here. This is kind of your first stop out, PS. You get your selling climax, automatic reaction, sell test. You come up, and then you're kind of trading this pattern. You come out here, sell test in phase B. You can even argue that over here was more of your sell test in phase B. This could have been over here. Various, we're just going through this quickly, guys, just to give you a rough estimate. This could be kind of your spring, double bottom, and now this could be kind of the start of your phase D schematic. And actually, just to show you guys, we'll draw it out quick. Just because I think this is a great tool to learn, whether some of you agree with me or not agree with me. That's totally fine. So we'll put this here. We don't want it full screen. So what you get over here, selling climax, bam, automatic reaction, sell test, come down, phase B, sell test in phase B. You move up to the higher end of trading range. You come down. You kind of get this last kind of touch on the upper end. Fails. You come down into spring territory. You come up. You test. And now it's starting to go into phase D. So, nonetheless, if we want to base our AMC movements around this, well, like we kind of talked about yesterday, the move wasn't really promising to me yesterday. Volume still dried out. We want to see that big volume spike for the terminal shakeout spring phase to move us and kind of confirm that phase C is over and phase D is on the way. But since Dogecoin is starting to get its movements, that's why I think Dogecoin is actually starting the moves into phase D. I believe this was the test moving into phase D. So therefore, meaning AMC, like we talked about yesterday, should bleed into this range here. Regardless if it goes to 16-ish, or if we trade to $17, $18, or just kind of float flat in here, it doesn't really matter. But if Dogecoin continues to rise and starts to get this very nice move into phase D, your SOS in here, and then start pumping back up into this territory right around like 50, 60 cents, that would be a perfect accumulation schematic playing out in real time. Now, that means AMC will lag just about 2 or 3 weeks. We'll see how this continues to play out because it seems like a lot of data, seeing that it has been some type of correlation inversely and then lagging from 317. But still, guys, it's not enough for me to be 100% convinced about this. But just wanted to give you a short, to-the-point video on what I'm seeing in this, how I think it may be correlated, and how we may be able to use this in the future. So no direct remarks at this point in time right here. We definitely want to see if this continues to play out. We'll roll with it. If it doesn't, it is what it is, guys. All right, peace out. Hope you enjoy your weekend.